Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, Brother Gaming HD. Capcom just locked their ninth straight years of record profits. And while half the industry out there is laying people off and burying live service flops, these guys are printing money. So check it out, guys. We talk a lot on this channel about the corporate scumbags, right? The studios that get bought, milked, and tossed in the graveyard, Anthem, Concord, just to name a few. All that billion-dollar graveyard energy, but every now and then, you gotta give where credit is due. And Capcom right now is the exact opposite story. Because Capcom just dropped their fiscal year results of the year that ended on March 31st of this year. And the numbers are kind of insane. We're talking a net sale of 195.3 billion yen. That's about $1.24 billion, up 15.2% year over year. Operating profits hit 75.3 billion yen, which is roughly $477 million, up 14.5% net profit, around 54.5 billion yen. And that's not a fluke. This is their fifth year in a row breaking their own revenue record and their ninth year straight of record profits. Across the board, 9 years, y'all, in an industry where studios are getting gutted every other week. Now, here's where it gets interesting. They've sold 59.7 million copies of their games this year. 59 million, up from about 51.9 million the year before. That's roughly 7 million extra units year over year. They've blew past their own targets. That's almost never happened, right? Most of the companies miss their projections and then lay off half the studio to cover those costs. And it just kind of shows that when you actually make good games, the sales follow. Wild concept, I know, right? But here's the part that nobody's talking about, and it tells you exactly where the industry is heading. 93% of those sales were digital. That's not a trend anymore. That's the whole business. Physical is sitting at about 7%. And listen to this, 54% were on PC, more than half. PC actually outsold console for Capcom this year. Consoles as a group, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, all of them combined, came to around 38.5%. PC alone did about 32 million of those units. Third year in a row, PC has been a majority platform for them. The back catalog is doing the work. Look at their top sellers for the year. Yeah, Requiem is number one, but under it, you got Resident Evil 4 Remake, Village, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Devil May Cry 5, and especially RE7. Old games still moving millions. That's not luck. That's a machine that keeps paying out long after launch week dies. All right, let's talk about the big dog that actually sat inside the physical year. Resident Evil Requiem launched on February 27th of this year. By the time Capcom closed the books on March 31st, it had already done 6.91 million units, number one seller for their entire year, not even close. Then, after the fiscal year closed, Capcom came back on April 24th and said that it had passed 7 million, fast paced series in history to the mark. 5 million in about a week, 6 million not long after, 7 million before most live service games figure out their battle pass. And zoom out on the franchise for a second. As of March 31st, 2026, Resident Evil as a series sits at 201 million lifetime units, Monster Hunter behind it at roughly 127 million, while Street Fighter sits around 59 million. One company, three monsters, and RE is still the crown jewel. So when people act shocked that Requiem cooked, bro, Capcom has been building an audience for decades. They didn't need 10-year live service roadmaps and a battle pass to justify the budget. They shipped a mainline Resident Evil and the audience showed up. Now, Pragmata, and I need y'all to lock in on the timeline because a lot of takes online are getting this wrong. Pragmata didn't carry Capcom March earnings. It couldn't. It launched on April 27th of 2026 after the physical year had already closed. Switch 2 in Japan and parts of Asia came weeks later on the 24th. Brand new IP, Sci Fi Hue, and Diana on the Moon. action puzzled hybrid, the kind of swing that most publishers are too scared to take anymore. And then it did what new IPs are not supposed to do. Capcom said it cleared 1 million units in 2 days, then 2 million within 16. Official press releases, not influencers, math, not Steam BD, vibes, Capcom. That is a statement because while everybody else is remaking the same three franchises and praying for the live service to stick, Capcom greenlit something new, demoed it early, marketed the bond between characters, and still opened like a franchise game. Does 2 million in 2 weeks mean it's the next Resident Evil? No. Slow down. But it does mean Capcom can still launch a brand new world and not faceplant in 2026. That alone pushes them in a rare air. So, what's the lesson, guys? Capcom just showed you that the counter programming of the entire modern playbook, record sales, record profits, 59 million units, 93% digital, PC outselling console, a Resident Evil game that hit 7 million at historic pace, a brand new IP that cleared 2 million in roughly 2 weeks after the books have already closed. So this year can get even uglier for the competition. And they're not done yet. They're guiding the next physical year towards a 210 billion yen in net sales. And they're still talking like the streak continues. Operating profit targets up to 83 billion yen range on the current forecast. They are not tapping the brakes. While everybody else is digging their own graves, Capcom is not here buying a bigger shovel for money. That's why this channel covers the failures and the expectations, because if you only watch the crashes, you miss the blueprint. Let me know what your current thoughts are on Capcom right now. Are they cooking? Or do you still not trust a big publisher no matter what the numbers say? Drop it in the comments. But it's been your boy Brotherhood Gaming HD, and if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the bell notifications, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out and goodbye, everybody.